Hari Om, we'll get started in a minute. We'll wait for a few more minutes for others to join and we'll get started. Hari Om, we'll get started. Sadhashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shrutasmriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all for a wonderful session on a Thursday evening on a series of talks that we are holding on the concept of Guru Tattva. This is organized by Vedanta Bharati under the header of Kishora Bharati, commemorative event where we are offering our gratitude and pranams to His Holiness Sri Bharati Tirtha Mahaswamiji of Shringeri Sharada Peetam. Welcome you all. And today I would like to welcome our guest speaker, Sri Karthik. He is with us to educate us on with his thoughts about a uh, topic on understanding Adi Shankara through stotras. Karthik is a marketing professional who has worked in various corporates for more than 30 years. He is now retired as a farmer and actively farming along with his studies on Vedanta. His studies are under the tutelage of Dr. Timmappa Hegade. He's part of Param Vedanta study group where they learn Vedanta, Advaita philosophy in particular. So that's brief introduction about our speaker. Welcome to you, sir. Before I hand it over to Karthik, sir, I just want to recap what we have learned so far. We started with understanding Guru Tattva as it is described in our scriptures. Many anecdotes we got to understand. We also got to know about gurus in the nature from whom we can learn and imbibe good qualities. Then we went ahead to understand about the Guru Parampara, the Advaita Guru Parampara, the lineage, starting from Sadashiva Samaramba, from Sadashiva until the current gurus whom we are grateful for. Then we went ahead and understood who is an ideal guru, what are the characteristics of ideal guru, and also about the disciple. And in the previous sessions, we understood more about Guru through the shlokas of the most prominent shlokas of uh, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, and also Ishvaro Gururatmeti. Understanding Gurus through these two shlokas, which we learned in the previous session. Today we have Karthik sir, who is going to educate us about understanding Adi Shankara through two prominent shlokas of Shankaracharya, which we have already learned. He'll be walking us through and educating us through his thoughts. Sadashiva Samarambham and Shrutismriti Purananam. These are the two shlokas through which he'll be enlightening us on more about Adi Shankara. With that said, I would like to hand it over to Karthik sir. So welcome to you. Stage is yours.
Thank you. You're doing a great job. Please continue to do it.
Thank you.
Namaskaras to everyone. Now, Can we go to the first slide, sir?
Yeah.
See, we have been talking about gurus a lot. So there's a slight change in that. We'll slightly learn about how to invoke a guru with these two shlokas. One shloka and the other praising guru. Now, before we invoke meaning call upon, we'll have some basic definitions before that. We'll understand what a tradition is. We'll understand what an invocation is. We'll understand what a lineage is. And we'll understand the relationship between Guru and Shishya. And we'll understand who is the Adi Guru. And of course, we'll understand who's a devotee or a. Now, we all know what tradition is. What is a tradition? A tradition is a belief, set of beliefs, a behavior, custom, practices passed on from generation to generation within a specialized group with a special intent or a special meaning. Now, there are three main types of traditions. Like in a school, there is a tradition. Like in a community, there is a tradition. And in a family, there is a tradition. Now, invocation is one such tradition used when we begin learning Shastra. Okay, invoke means, as I said earlier, call upon. Now, next, what is lineage? Lineage means direct descendants. Me, our father, his father, his father, and so on. This forms a lineage. Now, when we begin learning Shastra, we invoke our Guru lineage. That is the lineage of Gurus. Why? Because they have passed on the knowledge from generation to generation, Guru to Shishya, and Shishya learns and again becomes a Guru, and he teaches to another Shishya, and so on. So they all pass on something called Vidya or knowledge. In learning Shastra, this basic knowledge remains unchanged. It does not change. The same knowledge we are hearing today was given thousands of years ago. We invoke that tradition that has been handed down to us and then show our respect to that tradition and thus benefit from the invocation. How do we do that? We first pay respects to the very first Guru, Adi Guru. Then we call upon the first set of students, Rishis, who have learned the Vidya from the Adi Guru and have now become Gurus. Then the next set of students who have learned the Vidya and have become Gurus, and so on. Going on till our immediate Guru, till the Guru that lives and breathes in front of us in flesh and blood. So the first Guru, the Adi Guru, is Bhagavan. We call upon that Bhagavan who gave this knowledge in the beginning, who is also here now. It's not that the knowledge was given and then was lost and we are now remembering it. No, we are invoking that power that revealed the knowledge to those rishis thousands of years ago. We are invoking that power right now with these words, with the words in the invocation. Now, these words are intended to wake up Bhagavan to our presence, make Bhagavan aware of us. So we are telling Bhagavan or Ishvara that here we are and we want you on our side. Simple. Now, Bhagavan is impartial and he likes people who know as well as he likes people who don't know. He likes everything. He likes everyone. Bhagavan is everything. So Bhagavan likes all people and doesn't differentiate at all. So by invoking him with these words, Bhagavan works through two things, works through the Shastra and the Guru to give us what we bhaktas want. Simple. So a bhakta is somebody who understands that we are dependent upon Bhagavan, that everything we have depends on Bhagavan. What all do we have? We have our body, we have our hearts, we have our minds, we have our feelings, we have our emotions. And outside we have the sun, the moon, the stars, the house, everything. Every single thing we are dependent on as people. So we first acknowledge our dependency, we acknowledge our limitations, we acknowledge our ignorance, that is non-awareness. We are saying we don't know what we truly are, we want to know. So please teach us through this vehicle of Shastra. Next slide, sir, please. So can we go to the next slide? Yeah. No. Yeah. So this is the set of words which is called an invocation. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Now, straightforward meaning is I bow with reverence to the lineage, starting with Lord Sadashiva, with Adi Shankaracharya in the middle, and continuing up to my immediate guru or teacher. So I basically offer my salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. That is the tradition of teachers. Next slide, sir. Yeah. Now let us go into a little bit of these words. Sadashiva Samarambham. You can see the meaning. Sada means always. Shiva means good or auspicious. Samarambha means beginning of something good. So in the beginning was Sadashiva. Sadashiva also means what's true, what's always good, and what never changes. That is always true, which is always good or auspicious, and always constant. And also, two more things, and that which is always available to us, and that which is always satisfying to know. All right. So, Samarambha means in the beginning, Arambha means beginning. So, Samarambha means beginning of something good. Here, what does beginning mean? Beginning means before the world is created. The world began and the world will end. We have been saying. But before the world began in something, and whatever that something was, that spiritual cosmic principle is here now, and we want to contact it. We want to draw its attention to us because it has the power to know. Now, in the beginning, there was principle of consciousness or existence. Let us call it existence. In the beginning, there was this existence principle, which is eternal. It has been there all the time, in the past, in the present, and will be there in the future. Then the next word is Shankaracharya Madhyamam. Shankaracharya here means Adi Shankaracharya. Madhyamam means in the middle. Middle with reference to what? With the reference to the beginning and to now. Somewhere in between. That is in the middle. So in the middle between now and the beginning of time, this person who, Shankaracharya, came along and he did so many things. He redefined, he reorganized, he reclarified, he re-energized this whole teaching and reduced this teaching to a simple, straightforward formula. Jagad Brahma Satyam, Jagad Nitya, Jivo Brahmaiva, Naparaha. Let us not get into that now. I'm sure your immediate guru would have arranged for a talk on this. Now, please remember, I always talked about Shankaracharya redid everything, re-energized, redefined, reorganized, reclarified, because he's Madhyama. Who did it for the first time? Adiguru, Sadashiva or Dakshinamurti or Shiva, plain old Shiva. Now, the whole essence of Vedanta was refined to this one statement. Brahmasatyam, Jaganmithya, Jivo Brahmaiva, Naparaha. I would suggest you just learn it by rote. Then you will know. And that statement revived this knowledge, which was lost because the world was becoming more and more unnatural and forgetting its true nature. This happens all the time. See, the forces of darkness, the forces of greed, the forces of fear and desire will always work against truth. So this actually means something very, very important. This means that those parts of me, those parts of myself, those greedy parts, those fearful parts, those parts that are afraid, are always working against my understanding. So constantly, this knowledge needs to be clarified in every age and time. There is always tension between truth and ignorance, and it always needs to be resolved. Now, knowledge stays alive in the human mind, has always stayed alive by a small group of people who keep this truth alive. So, in the middle of this great teaching tradition was Shankaracharya. Next slide, sir. Asmadacharya Paryantam. It's straightforward meaning. Asmad means me, I, mine. Acharya means guru. Paryanta means entirely, up until my immediate. So, Asmadacharya Paryanta, Vande Guru Parampara. Vande means I pay my respects, I worship, I surrender, I bow to this flow of knowledge from the higher to the lower, from God in the beginning down to the present moment. Paramparam, parampara means this lineage. Next slide, sir. Now here, you must have heard of this word. It is very, very important, and it is going to be a large part of your lives, hopefully. And I'll just give you one meaning of it. It's a straightforward, simple meaning. One meaning is of the word Upanishad is Shad means sit. So Upa means near or below. So I need to sit near a teacher, below a teacher and Shastra with, with an open mind. And that knowledge, like water, flows from higher to lower very, very easily, very, very smoothly. So all of this indicates lineage, tradition, and an eternal, perennial flow of knowledge that we are getting into, that we are placing ourselves in. Another word which is always also very, very important that we should never forget is guru, of course. Gu means ignorance or darkness, and ru means remover or dispeller. So the word guru means one who removes ignorance and fills us with the light of knowledge and leads us on the path of dharma. What is his tool? His tool is always Shastra. So it is the Shastra that removes ignorance. Guru passes on that Shastra to us and removes the ignorance. Next slide, sir. So this was about one shloka. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Now let us go to the next shloka. Now, before getting into the next shloka, again, we need to know about three things. We need to know what is something called Shruti. We need to know what is called Smriti. And we need to know what is called Purana. And also, it becomes interesting to know what did Adi Shankaracharya do about with these three instruments that makes us call him really, really great. And we celebrate Jayantis of Shankaracharya. Next slide, sir. Let us go to the shloka. Pratismati Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. I bow, at the feet of the Lord in the form of Shankaracharya, who is a blessing for all humans, who is a shrine, who holds all the Shruti, Smriti, and Puranas, and who is also very, very compassionate. Before we try and understand the shloka, let us understand in a non-detailed way what Shruti, Smriti, and Puranas are. Next slide, sir. Now, the first line of the shloka says, Shruti, Smriti, Purananam Alayam. Shruti is Veda, that which is heard. Smriti, that which is remembered. Purana, stories about Bhagavan's avatars. Alayam is a temple, an abode, or a shrine. A little bit more detail into Shruti, Smriti, and Puranas. Next slide, sir. Shruti is something that is heard. It is a collection of all spiritual knowledge. You must have heard of these four Vedas: Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, and Atharvana Veda. Atharva Veda. And all of these Vedas have four subdivisions. So each Veda has Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. And there are so many of these Upanishads and Samhitas and Brahmanas. So what are Samhitas? Samhitas are basically, as you can see, hymns. I'm sure you will have a detailed session about all of this, but just to know what Shankaracharya did with such an expansive instrument. All of these are instruments. Hymns, then Brahmanas means all rituals, then Aranyaka means forest treatises. So once you know all the hymns, and once you have practiced all the Brahmanas means all the yajnas and homas and every activity, all the pujas too. Once you have done that and you have lived for a certain good period of time, then the practice was to go to the forest and there uh, again think about the person, think about the relationship between different people, think about the person's relationship with the forest, with the trees, with nature, and all of these things, and then write a book or write an essay, so to speak. So that is called an Aranyaka. And finally, we have the Upanishad. So I told you earlier what an Upanishad means. It is something that is the peak of all Shruti. It is the peak of all our Bharatiya Sanskriti knowledge is the Upanishads. Now, the term Shruti literally means to hear. It refers to all the sacred texts about which are all of these Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. Now, more importantly, as these texts were passed down through oral tradition from, as we saw earlier, Guru to Shishya, Guru to Shishya. Shishya learns, and then again he becomes Guru, and he passes it on. So these texts, so these works are regarded as the most authoritative and are believed to contain something that is beyond question. We cannot question Shruti. We can only question ourselves and our understanding of Shruti, but not the Shruti itself. Because that is the ultimate truth and it is eternal knowledge. And they are also regarded as the fountain from which every other literature came about. That is the source of every other literature that came about. So even Shruti is all the Vedas, the Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda means where all the actions are shown, all the pujas, how we sit, how we stand, how we respect elders, how we respect teachers, how we respect our friends, how should we deal in a particular set of circumstances in a situation. All of this. And the last portion of the Vedas, as I told you earlier, is called Vedanta, Upanishads. Now, an important thing is who gave us all this Shruti? Shruti The Bhagavan gave it to us. So there is it has came down to the rishis. Rishis were able to get the receiver, were the receivers of this particular knowledge or vidya. So this particular Shruti, there is a word called apaurusheyatvam. Now, Purusha means not just a man. Purusha actually means a human being. Whatever he does or he is associated with is called Paurusheyatva. Now, the opposite of Paurusheyatvam is Apaurusheyatvam. So now all of the Shruti, since it is not associated with humans, although it is for humans, it is not by humans. So it is called Paurusheyatvam, Shruti. Next slide. Now let us go to Smriti. Now, Smriti has authorship. It is written. It is conceived and written by human beings, not ordinary human beings, of course, but highly refined human beings. So, Smriti means that which is remembered based on human memory by people who had a status almost similar to the one that rishis had. That is, the people that conceived of and wrote Smritis knew about all the rituals, knew about values, knew about dharma, knew about what is adharma. All the dharma shastras also come under Smriti. So now the entire, sir, I think there is one more slide. Oh yeah, this one. Sorry. Yeah, please go back to the previous slide. So there is a lot of it. This is just a sample of what is there. The entire after the Shruti, whatever was written, most of it come under Smriti. So we have these Upavedas. Upavedas is subsidiary, that is secondary, uh, that is pertaining to one particular subject under the Vedas. Then we have the Vedangas. Then we have the Shad Darshana. Shad Darshana means the six limbs. I mean, you will come across it in the future, definitely. And of course, Puranas, and then Itihasas and Dharma Shastras. Now, interestingly, Itihasa is historical, and you must have heard of Ramayana and Mahabharata. Remember it, get it into your thing very, very strongly. It is not considered Purana, it is considered Itihasa. So we say Ramayana and Mahabharata is history and not a story. Although told in story form, it is actually history. Now, yeah, that's it. Next slide, sir. We'll go to Puranas. Now, Puranas, they are on a different canvas. Although a part of Shruti, they are very big. They're very, very big. Its topic is entirely different. Although it talks about Shruti in a certain way, it talks about it with respect to Bhagavan's avatars. Each thing has a Bhagavan coming in, posing as somebody else, asking, living with us, or or making us aware of how Bhagavan acts in a particular avatar. We have so many avatars, so many Puranas, and we have Upa Puranas also. So this is one of the first things that we can start reading about as we grow up. One of the first things, Puranas. So we have 18 Mahapuranas. It's vast literature. So yeah, really, really vast. Next slide, sir. So now we are returning to the Shloka. Now we know the vastness of all this spiritual or all this literature that is available to us. Kriti, we knew, we saw just we had a glance, then Smriti, then Purana. So we have one more word there called alayam. Shruti Smriti Purananam alayam. Now, this first, it is a statement of fact. It is fact. We say Shankaracharya is Shruti Smriti Purananam alayam. What is an alaya? Alaya is a shrine or temple. We saw. Also, any place where we keep something sacred. So Devalaya, we keep deities there. The Pustakalaya, we keep books there. So all these are sacred things. We keep it in alayas. So Shankaracharya is an alaya of Shruti, Smriti, and Purana. We just saw how vast it is. So I'll keep coming back to that. All these together abide in one shrine, one temple called Shankaracharya. He is a virtual reflection of the entire subject matter of whatever is there in Shruti, whatever is there in Smriti, and whatever is there in Purana, which is enshrined. Remember, subject matter. The basic subject matter of Shruti, Smriti, Purana is enshrined in him, is what we believe and what is true. Because what I said earlier, it is a statement of fact. And therefore, Shruti, Smriti, Purananam alayam. Next slide, sir. Now, uh, let us think this way. Suppose there is a living person who knows all of this, who has this vast knowledge, who is the embodiment of this vast knowledge, but never passes it on. Never. Now, there are many people who have all this knowledge, but some cannot pass it on. They do not have the ability or the skill to pass it on, or they do not pass it on. They just don't care. I mean, they are happy with themselves. They are happy to practice it themselves and live well within themselves. They really don't, it doesn't matter to them whether the other people know or not. So they practice it privately. They do not reach out to others with this knowledge. There are a lot of people that way. Now, if Shankaracharya had been such a person, we would not have called him great. We would not have celebrated his Jayanti, nor have so many books written about his life, his personality, his teachings, all of it in 32 years. So we would not have really called him anybody else. So he had two things. Remember, one, he knew he was the embodiment of all this knowledge, all this vidya across such a vast literature, Shruti, Smriti, Purana, and equally important, he was able to communicate it. Communicate it. He wanted to communicate. Why? Why did he want to do that? Because he was a person of great compassion. Compassion in Sanskrit is called karuna. So, Shankaracharya was not just an alaya of all knowledge, subject matter of all knowledge, but also an alaya of karuna. Karuna also resided in him. So, a person of great compassion through which he was able to reach out to others. It is his compassion, karuna, which made him what he was. Let us see how. What all did he do? Now, as you can see, he taught his disciples who were with him, but he also made sure that the teaching came down to us. See, we are talking about it. All this, I mean, we believe it is some 1500, 1600, 1700 years ago. So we are still talking about all his works. How? Because he wrote. In those days, writing was not an easy job. There were no typewriters, there were no laptops, or even there was no paper and pen either. He had to do all these writings on palm leaves, and every copy was handwritten. So there are hundreds of such manuscripts available in India today. I've seen one. I've seen quite a few. Now, so many have been destroyed. Okay, so many, because it has been such a long period and cultures came, cultures went, cultures were made submissive, and all these happened, but we lost it. But still, we have quite a few palm leaves and this literature available, well, albeit in paper form, in this electronic form also. Why? Because our culture, our Vedic culture, I mean, it it attaches, it accords a lot of meaning, a lot of value to learning, whether it is scriptural or whether it is whether it is historical, temporal, uh, historical or time based. I mean, there is a lot of value to this learning. Now, Shankaracharya wrote mega commentaries, which we call as bhashyas, on 10 Upanishads. All these bhashyas were written. So I'll just give you a preview to what a bhashya is. Now, when writing a bhashya first, there is one overriding principle that you want to communicate in each sutra, in each, let us say, in each uh, uh, shloka of the bhashya. What do you want to do? You want, that is called a siddhanta. You want to communicate a siddhanta. That is the truth, the main teaching of that particular concept. What you have to do when writing a bhashya is, first, you have to give a comprehensive meaning. Then you should defend this analysis against other possible meanings or any other meaning given by somebody else. So if one person thinks in one way, there will always be another way by another person, because people think differently. People say that there are different schools of thought. And remember, in the earlier slides, we said darshana. Darshana means a school of thought. All right, now coming back. So people said that there are different schools of thought. When you're dealing with reality, it has to be dealt with exactly as it is. There cannot be different schools of thought in, say, arithmetic, where 1 plus 1 can only be 2. Now, how can there be schools of thought in understanding Ishvara or Bhagwan? But there are people who looked at and who look at Ishvara differently. Now, what did Shankaracharya do in his bhashyas? He valued them all and discussed in detail, leaving nothing to be desired. And then, see, another word that I'm going to drop now. When you write a particular concept and say, this is my analysis, the other person objects to it. Let us say, no, this is not true. This should be interpreted or understood in this way. So the person is called a Purva Paksha. So Purva Paksha. So, and then he comes up with his objection. And being a Bhashyakara, Shankaracharya is also called Bhashyakara, you will have to say, no, what you thought is actually not right. This is the other thing. See, an important thing, you have to necessarily give people freedom to hold their ideas and express it. There is nothing wrong in it. There is no way of reconciling what is right with whatever is wrong. Reconciling means making it congruent, making it equal. What is right is always right. There is nothing to reconcile. A wrong thing has to be stated as wrong and understood as wrong. So after this Bhashya, after this Purvapakshi's uh, um, arguments, he has to understand, yes, I was wrong, and what you are saying is right. Now remember, Shankaracharya who talks about what? Talks about Shastra. Shastra, who was the first teacher? Bhagavan. So it can never be wrong. It is always right. It is only our understanding of it which needs to be tuned and fine-tuned and refined so that we understand it. So the process of going through it is one of the texts that we need to go through is a bhashya. So now coming back, the other person has the freedom to hold a wrong idea. That is understandable. However, we cannot accept this wrong idea just because, let us say, he is a nice person. So, shall we accept it? No. So, we cannot have an appeasing approach in dealing with realities. All of this is in the Bhashyas, Shankaracharya's works. Thus, so we can imagine the enormity of effort in writing on all of these on palm leaves. How much compassion, how much karuna Shankaracharya must have had for this monumental work for the upliftment of humanity. That he wrote all these books. And finally, I mean, there is one more word I'm going to drop, Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra Bhashya. It is no ordinary feat, it is extraordinary. All of this is proof of his compassion. All of his proof of his karuna. Therefore, the shloka says, he is called Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam. Now, he taught, he wrote. What else did he do? Next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. Now, Shankaracharya also unified Bharata by spreading his teachings across the length and breadth of Bharatavarsha. He established 4 mathas in 4 directions of Bharata for spreading his teachings. These mathas have played a very, very significant role in keeping our organization that we're talking today is an offspring of one such matha. Each of these heads have these 4 mathas. They take the title of Shankaracharya and learned Shankaracharya. So now, not only did he establish them long ago, next slide, sir. They are thriving centers of wisdom even now. So just to name, these are this. There is one in Puri, Govardhana Matha, one in Sringeri Matha, one in Dwarka, Kalika Matha, one in Badrinath, that is Jyotir Matha. And these were all founded by, as you can see, the last line, by the 4 disciples, which Shankaracharya taught himself. He taught these 4 people himself. So they were the first acharyas of this Pitham. Pitham means a matha. Pitham means an establishment, a seat of learning. Next slide, sir. Now, let us go back to the shloka. The last line of the shloka. What is the first line? All right, try and remember. Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Namami means, of course, I salute. Bhagavat Pada means like Bhagavan. Shankaram Loka Shankaram. I salute him. See here, the first Shankara is his name. There is a derivation, Sham Karoti iti Shankaraha. That is, Shankara is he who gives Shankara. The second Shankara is Mangala. Mangala means good, an auspicious. So Shankara gives an auspicious flavor to every one of us who reads Shastra. The one who brings about Mangalam is Shankara Bhagavat Pada. Bhagavat Pada means he is compared. He did all of this. All of this. So we compare him to God, Bhagavan, so Bhagavat Pada, and unto him my namaskaras. These talks about 2 shlokas. And before I end, I'd just like to say 2 things. I'd like to share. Believe in your Guru, come what may. Have Shraddha, just trust. That is number 1. Number 2, the capacity to learn is a gift that is given. And the ability to learn is a skill which we can learn. And the willingness to learn is a choice. So never stop learning. Learn all the time and from everyone. So you might also want to listen to some talks about listen in the series or any other way about one of the lords called Dattatreya, how he learned from everyone he met. All right, let me sign off. Thank you. It was a pleasure. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. That was really a wonderful talk, giving the padapadartha of each of the slokas, and for each of the padas, going in deep and explaining us the context of that. It was indeed a very meaningful and knowledgeable talk. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that wonderful talk. Now, I would like to keep the floor open for questions. I will allow people to unmute themselves and then ask questions. But ensure that after you are done with your questions, you go on mute so that it does not disturb others. So now, anybody, if anyone, if you have questions, you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Let you ask the question.
Sir?
Hi, Karthik.
Sir, I have a question of like what does Mahapuranam and Upapuranam mean?
Okay. So basically, Mahapurana is a very big. All right, yes, correct. No, you will have instances within the Mahapuranas. Upa means sub. Upa means small in in this context. So a smaller part of these 18 big Puranas is Upapurana. So smaller stories of the Mahapurana is very big stories. So just to give you an idea, I mean, okay, I'm sure the person who talks to you later on, I really hope about Puranas will give you in detail. But Mahapurana, remember, is big. Upapurana is something small.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Yeah. Anyone, any other child has any questions to ask? If not, we'll ask the questions and you should be answering it. Can I request whoever are there, can I request them to be on camera so that we can see? Sharkansi has given a wonderful talk on two slokas, which we already learned. Shruti Smriti Puranana we have learned, and Sadashiva Samaramba you will learn soon. So, can we come on camera? Wonderful. If you don't have any questions, can I ask you all a
I
question?
cannot turn on the camera.
Okay, that should be fine. So if nobody has any questions, can I ask a question? Can we see if we can anybody can answer? Wonderful. What would have happened if we didn't had all the gurus that we talked about from Sadashiva Samaramba, from Sadashiva until Shankaracharya and the present day gurus? What would have happened if we did not had any of those gurus in our life?
Can I answer?
Yeah, you can unmute and answer.
We will not have any knowledge if there are no gurus to start.
Okay, we would not be having any knowledge. So how would our life be in that case?
Like we'll be blank-minded.
Blank-minded. Okay. What difference would you see between us and animals?
Animals are the differently live and we differently live. They have their own, like they're different. Animals have their own habitat and we have our own habitat.
Okay. But what makes us different from them? We understand animals live a different way, different habitat. We also live in a different way.
We
What
have
makes
more
us...
knowledge than them. Like
What is that knowledge? Knowledge of what?
Puranas. Yeah.
Knowledge of Puranas. Okay. What else? Does knowledge of Puranas make your life easy?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes. Okay. True. Yeah. The belief systems you carry from Puranas. So one difference between
What?
animal and us is we can think which the animals cannot. We can learn, which the animals cannot. Isn't it?
Yes.
So
Another,
now, yes, sir.
sir, another very, very important difference between animals and us is choice.
Choice, yeah.
Choice. We have a choice. Animals are basically driven by instinct. So
Instinct, correct.
everything they do is driven by instinct. So human
Correct.
beings, we have a choice.
Correct. If you remember from our previous sessions, Dr. Sachin has talked about different qualities of gurus. Can anybody remember? Viveka, Vairagya. Do you remember that? The ability to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong. The discriminatory, the Viveka to make a right decision and a wrong decision. Those are the capabilities and those are the knowledge that we as humans have. Isn't it? Yeah, now who has given us all those knowledge? From where did it come?
Guru.
Uh, it's the gurus who has given us the knowledge, has shown us the light, the way we need to lead our life, the way the purpose of our existence. How do we make this life more fruitful? That is the knowledge that gurus has given. So now from the talks that sir has given, can we do a small quiz?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir mentioned about Shruti, Smritis, and Puranas. Puranas you are already seeing on the screen. So can anybody recall what are being referred as Shruti? What did we learn, or what was referred to as Shruti when we learned Shloka on Shankaracharya?
Veda that is heard.
Vedas, wonderful. How many Vedas do we have?
Four Vedas.
Four Vedas, wonderful. Where did it originate? Where did Vedas originate from? Who is the author of Vedas?
Vedvyasa.
Vedavyasa was the author. Was he the author, or what was his contribution? What was Vedavyasa's contribution for Vedas? We learnt it on Guru Purnima day. We got to know why we celebrate Guru Purnima. What contribution what did Vedavyasa Maharshi do? So now you all mentioned that Vedas are into four. There are four Vedas, correct? So who classified that into four different say branches or four different pathways? Who classified that? Who classified it?
Shankaracharya.
Shankaracharya made us to understand these Vedas in a more clear terms. Brahma. Okay. Who else? What else you can think about? See, what Shankaracharya made was Vedas, as sir said, Vedas were very difficult to understand. We are common people. We need to understand those Vedas, and we don't have that much of very deep knowledge about Sanskrit and all the other things. So he made us understand these Vedas with simple text. He has written lot of Prakarana Granthas, Shlokas, and many other Bhashyas and other things. Through his work, he made us to understand Vedas in a clear terms. The question was, who classified these Vedas into four terms? Who did the classification?
I remember his mother's name, but I don't remember the author.
Okay, you remember his mother's name. Okay, what was the mother name of person who classified?
Satyavati.
Satyavati. Okay, it was Vedavyasa who classified the Vedas into four different branches or four different streams. And it is because of his work of classification we we celebrate his birthday as Guru Purnima. Guru Purnima Day. Wonderful. So we got to know about Shruti. Shruti is the Vedas. Smritis, as you all see, oh, okay, now we don't, what did we learn as part of Smriti?
That the Vedas to be remembered.
No, Smriti, we sir had a different slides. No, Smriti, he also explained, taking an example of Upanishad. Shrutis are Vedas. Smritis, he had given us a wonderful example about the 6 different kind of Smritis he has talked about. Okay, let me bring up that slide so that you can understand. Can you now remember what we learned now as Smritis? Upavedas, Vedanga, Shaddarshana. There are 6 different streams which we learned as Smritis. Then comes the Puranas. Do anyone remember any of the names of any of the Puranas? You can even look at that, but you should tell if you have heard any of these names earlier, if not today.
Skanda. Kalki.
Skanda Purana, yeah, somebody told Skanda, Skanda Purana.
Bhavishya Kalki.
Kalki is a Purana, is it? Kalki is a Avtara.
But here in the Mahapuranas, in the 11th one, it says Kalki. The meaning.
Kalki, is it? Okay. Bhavishya Purana, Kalki Purana. Okay,
and
wonderful.
Brahma. It is well.
Wonderful. So these are the literatures or the work that is giving us the, what to say, the boundaries or the principles on which we are leading all our life. The knowledge that we are getting, or the way we are the way we are living our life, where we are finding purpose for our life. All these are given by these Shruti Smriti Puranas, and that was made accessible to us by Shankaracharya. And that is what sir also explained, each pada padartha. Shankaracharya was also called as Alayam. What do you mean by Alayam? Anybody can answer. What do you understand by Alayam? Have you heard about anything called Alayam, ending with Alayam? Can anyone give examples of words ending with Alayam?
No, that's not good.
Anybody can give. What do you call temple in your native language? Your mother tongue. What do you call temple?
Mandira.
Or what do you call temple in Sanskrit?
Mandira.
Mandira is one word. Can you think about a word ending with Alayam for temple?
Mandiralayam.
Mandiralayam. Okay. Devalayam, the God resides there. Devalayam is one word. So any other words that you can think about Alayam? What do you call your school?
Devasthanam.
Devasthanam. I'm telling, relate with Alayam. What do you call your school? What do you do there when you go to school?
Vidyalayam.
Vidyalayam. Yes. Devalayam, Vidyalayam. So similarly, Shankara is also called as Alayam. For what? What is it? What is he really holding? So in Devalayam, you have deities. In Vidyalayam, you get education, knowledge, right? So that is where we call Vidyalayam. Because Vidya, it is the knowledge which is there in that place. Now Shankara is referred as Alayam. So what is that? For what reason is Shankara being called as Alayam? What did sir gave a wonderful example for what reason Shankara is called Alayam? Can you relate with the shloka and answer? How does the shloka goes with Alayam? Alayam Karunalayam. What does it mean? Karuna is compassion. He's showing, he's blessing us. He's blessing us with all the knowledge that is needed for us to get freed from all the miseries of ourselves.
Puranam.
Was it not wonderful to understand why we need to be grateful for Shankaracharya, why we should bow down for him?
Sure.
Hmm?
It was great.
Wonderful. Then we also learned about Sadhashiva Samarambha, the beginner, the who is the one who is the first in the lineage. So next time when somebody's when you go out and have to spend some time with your friends, you can proudly talk about these two slokas about Sadashiva Samarambha and also about Shankaracharya, why we should bow down or why we should be grateful for our gurus. Will you all do that?
Yes, of
So
course.
will you all chant the Guru slokas, these two slokas regularly?
Yeah.
It is because of their contribution or their blessings. Now we are leading a wonderful life. We have the knowledge to create things. We have the knowledge to understand what is wrong, what is right. We have knowledge to select, make our choices in our life. Otherwise, we'd have been just like animals, isn't it?
Yep.
So we all bow down for the gurus because they have given us the knowledge. They have shown us the path to be happy and lead a wonderful life. Yeah. Fine. Anyone has anything to ask, share, or any questions for sir? Nobody has anything?
No, sir.
Wonderful.
Make a
Fine.
point to, even if not now, make a point to make a note of whatever you have a doubt on and share the thing with others, with your guru. I mean, the first person you should ask is your guru,
Hmm.
and then guru will come back to you with the answer.
Answers.
So that is very, very important.
Wonderful. So now we learnt about Shankaracharya, and Shankaracharya had 4 direct disciples. Can anybody name all the 4 disciples' name? Sir mentioned about that. He also mentioned about the 4 pitas which Shankaracharya established, and the 4 disciples, the direct disciples of Shankaracharya, who are the first pitadipatis of these pitams. Do anyone remember? Can anybody tell that?
Amriti Puranam.
You want any help? I'll bring up that slide. You can. Now, can anybody read out the names or tell who are those 4 disciples of Shankaracharya?
Shri Hastamalakacharya, Shri
Wonderful,
Sureshwaracharya, Shri
wonderful,
Padmapadacharya, and
wonderful,
Shri Totakacharya.
wonderful. So all these are the 4 disciples, the direct disciples of Shankaracharya. Now that we have learned about Shankaracharya, how about learning about all these disciples, all these gurus who has directly got educated by Shankaracharya? How would you like to? Would you be interested to know about these disciples also?
Yeah.
We have been learning Totakacharya as part of our stage 2 shlokas. We'll also learn about all the other shlokas, about all the disciples. Would you be interested to know more about them?
Yes.
Coming Monday and Thursday, the next 2 weeks, we'll learn about all of these gurus who are direct disciples of Shankaracharya. So next month, yeah.
When is next class?
Next class is on Monday. We'll learn about Shankaracharya and Sureshwaracharya. Sureshwaracharya was the first Pitadipati of Sringeri Sharada Peetham. We'll learn about Sureshwaracharya on coming Monday.
Okay, sir.
Would you all be interested to join on Monday?
Yes.
Wonderful. So with that said, we'll conclude the class. But before I conclude, I would like to thank Karthik sir for making your time out and taking us through 2 important shlokas with very detailed meaning, the Padapadartha, giving more insight for each of the padas, and the bigger context makes us realize how depth the shloka is and why we should really be chanting that every single day. Thank you for that, sir. Thank you for your
Thank you very
time
much.
and sharing
My
your
pleasure.
thoughts with us. With that, let's conclude with Shanti Mantra. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. हरिः ओम् तत्सत्. Wonderful. Thank you. Have a nice evening. We'll connect on Monday on one of the wonderful topic about Shankaracharya and Sureshwaracharya.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Ram Ram.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Ram Ram.
Hari Om, sir.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, sir. Hari Om, sir.